Good morning. Getting ready to start my day, about to hit my first workout. Gonna eat a little bit first. And I thought, today I'll talk about the carbohydrates. Now, don't even touch them if they're processed, like at all. And for the most part, carbohydrates are pretty useless, other than some energy source when you're doing high output, like strength training, things like that, the glycogen. And so I try to, and I've a few months ago I ate too much. I was allowing myself more than I should have, and I was eating a little more saturated fat than I should have. I'm not, like I said in previous videos, saturated fats are good, but they're still an energy source, and if we consume too many of them, we get fat. That's I fucking hate dieting, like trying to get it off. I love getting really lean. That's always fun, but I've let myself get a little softer than I would normally allow. And so I'm going to try to get extra lean, just to force myself to not do that shit again. Because I'd rather just stay lean and like walk the tightrope, eating enough to grow, get enough energy for your workouts, but not too much. If you go a little too the other way, back and forth, and it's just a steady walk forward. There's a lot of guys out there that still do the bulking, cutting shit, and they start eating all these carbs in what they call the off season. If you're bodybuilding, there's never an off season, guys, ever. And if rather than get an overabundance of carbs and be a fat, like pre-diabetic piece of shit by the time you do your diet, just eat enough that you're going to use them, and not anymore. And you can actually grow, and putting on muscle burns more fat than just about anything. There's just so much energy that needs to be burned to accumulate more muscle tissue. And so I try to do, like right now, I can't stand throwing egg yolks away. That just hurts my feelings. So I buy these cartons of egg whites, and instead of eating 2 dozen whole eggs a day, I'm eating I'm eating a dozen whole eggs and then a couple cups of whites. I don't want to cut all that good fat out. I just want enough so my body has certain functions. I can use the cholesterol for cell membrane, the cell membranes, even some of the fatty acids. There's certain things with brain function, you name it. You just want enough where I have enough of that, and I'm good and healthy and anabolic. And then from there, I replace all the fats with olive oil or like some MCT oil. Those are freebies. I can put 2 cups olive oil on my food in a day and still get leaner. That's where the calorie thing doesn't make sense, right? When it comes to protein and certain fats, the calorie thing's fucking out the window. When it comes to carbohydrates, 100%, the calorie thing makes sense, but that's the only thing where it fully makes sense. So now, counting calories, none of that. Back to the carbohydrates now that I got all that out. Carbohydrates, what I try to do, obviously, is just eat them from whole food sources. And we've seen it in the blood work, guys. People's blood work is not all messed up if they just eat like whole fruit. And in the fruit itself, the sugars are different. They're not cooked, broken down, and processed. And there's enzymes in there that help your stomach flora, because that is so important. Is where it all starts, is in the gut. Okay. And then not only that, there's certain vitamins, if you look, in minerals, whatnot, there's certain vitamins, like certain fruits have a lot of vitamin C, but at the same time they're also acidic. Vitamin C protects cells. It strengthens cells to protect them against things like that. You lose that in any kind of processing. Orange juice is just fructose water because the enzymes evaporate, and so does vitamin C. Okay, so like all that's gone. Eat the whole fruit. Now a step further. I always have to take things a step further in my mind. Well, if I'm going to eat a carbohydrate source, most of the time, unless it's like some white rice or a baked potato, I'll just pour olive oil all over it. But I'll eat like some fruit and pineapple, for example. I have a slice of pineapple. If I eat a lot of red meat and I have a slice of pineapple, pineapple contains bromelain. Bromelain is a enzyme that helps break down meat, like the protein. It actually helps you break down that red meat and absorb more of it. So I'd say I'm having 60 grams of carbs this day, and I have this big meal full of meat. I might have 40 of those carbs and some pineapple with that meal, and then the other 20 I'll have in a tablespoon of honey before I work out or something. So that honey brings me another one. Honey, if you don't cook it. But honey, it has some protective qualities, and there's something unique about honey, and we see it in the blood work as well, as it doesn't seem to affect people the same, even diabetes. But, and I'm not saying diabetics should go out and eat a bunch of honey, but I'm saying is it has far less impact on them than like table sugar or even processed grains, okay? So honey doesn't seem to hurt the gut whatsoever, and it has microbial properties. It has like all this because their embryos develop in this stuff, right? So there's something about it, and it gives you, before I work out, here's where the benefit comes to me. Before I work out, I'll put some honey on a little spoon like this. It's probably a half tablespoon, which is probably like 9 carbs, right? I put that in my mouth. Honey gives you a dopamine spike. And that little dopamine spike you get from that honey just perks you up a little bit. If you're somebody that's carb addicted or abusing carbohydrates your whole life, you'd be so desensitized to sugar and shit that you don't get that out of it. Honey might not even taste good to people like that. Now, when you're eating mostly just like a carnivore-based diet, that little tablespoon of honey sends you to the moon. You're just like, whoa! And you get that little perk and ambition. Dopamine is responsible for giving you that ambition, that drive. And that's where the ADHD comes in. Like, sometimes I get so deprived I can't, if dopamine gets too low, you can't sleep, but then you don't feel good when you're awake. It sucks. And papaya, another one you eat with red meat. Papaya has papain in it. Well-known enzyme for helping break down protein so you can absorb a bit more of it. Otherwise, like I said, just a cup of white rice with a bunch of and anytime I like that I can sneak some more olive oil in there, I'll have at it. And then I think this week I grabbed there was a decent price on a tub of like organic strawberries, a big tub of it, and I'll take like 3 of those strawberries and eat them or something, and that's about it. And you got to think primitively, that's the way our body was meant to handle stuff. We were meant to just get little bits of the carbs. They're not in, like, if you watch anything, like one of my favorite shows is Naked and Afraid. That is about how many carbs people ate. Once in a while, they'll find a little bit of fruit on a tree, or maybe rob a bee nest or something. But people weren't out in the field just chomping down on wheat grains and shit. There's none of that. It's very small amounts here and there, and they would eat them alone, not with a whole bunch of fats and whatnot to be messing triglycerides up or lipids or anything like that. And the bulk of everybody's food was pretty much nose to tail. That's the way humans are designed to eat. All right. So I'm going to get my eggs down my throat and get to working out. I'll see you then.